I'd like to talk about holding on to hope. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you're here for the first time, you're very, very welcome. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. So holding on to hope. What is hope, actually, first of all? What is hope? Hope for me is looking into the future and having a goal, something to look forward to, something to aspire to, an outcome. And in order to get to that outcome, I need to behave in a certain way to get there, to have that outcome. There's no surety, there's no it's not definite whether I'm actually going to reach those goals, but I'm hopeful. So it's like this YouTube channel. I'm hopeful that it's going to lead to becoming a community where we feel that we're not alone in our grief or in our mental health struggles, and that we have others that we can turn to, and this becomes a platform where we can share and we've got each other's back, where I can upload videos like this and raise awareness about certain topics around grief and mental health, and also hopefully go on to interviewing, maybe podcasting, and bringing sort of other people to this platform where we can sort of have a talk and learn new things from other people's perspectives. That's really where I would like it to lead. So I'm hopeful, aren't I? So I haven't got there yet. I haven't, I have a few subscribers on this video, on this channel. I've uploaded quite a lot of content so that there's the reason why I did that was so that there is a library there. There is some content there. So if I have somebody who's interested in what I'm talking about, it's not that I've got, five, a little handful of videos. There's actually quite a lot of content for you to then delve into around the subject of mental health, different aspects of mental health conditions, and grief, and different kinds of grief as well. So there's hope. And where and why do I need hope? If I haven't got hope, then there's no reason for me to get out of bed in the morning. There'll be no motivation, nothing. I might as well just stay in bed. Yeah. And that could lead to depression, perhaps. And I've experienced depression. I've talked about that in videos previously. Deep dark black hole. I think there was about possibly the second video I made and uploaded here on this channel. So, I've experienced depression and how dark that feels and how lonely it feels and how much it feels that this is going to be me forever and this is where I'm going to be forever. And there's no way out. No way out. But I'm here to tell you that things do shift. And I had to make a decision. Okay, so losing my son was something that I had to come to accept. So acceptance of that fact. But then it was, where do I want this to take me now? Do I want this to end me? Do I want... And sometimes you might argue, it's not really a matter of wanting it or choosing it. It's how it is. And yes, I get that too. Sometimes you can end up in such severe depression that it's actually out of your hands. And I did feel as if I've lost control completely. But then the thing for me was that, naturally I'm a positive person, so I can't change that. I'm naturally a half glass full kind of person. I don't see that it's half empty. I see that it's half full. That's how I naturally see things. So, and then I have my education in mental health. So I was aware of you know, some of the things that were happening to me mentally. And I had the ability to step outside of myself and ask myself, you know, where am I? And analyze that. And then once I've analyzed it, then it's asking myself, you know, what do I want from this? Where is this taking me? What choices do I have? And for me, I had two choices. Either I was going to give up and say, that's it, that's me done. I can't function through life like this. So I choose, well, depression and just hiding myself away in isolation, just, you know, secluding myself from society. Or I live the rest of my life, and I don't know how long that life is, by trying to help others in honor of my son. And I chose the latter because how I felt and saw it was that my son would want me to help others, would want me to carry on, would want me not to give up and give in. He wouldn't want that. I know that because I know him well enough. And he is very much the partner in this, in anything that I've done since losing my son, whether it's the, you know, I mean, I was delivering mental health first aid training before he passed. I mean, that's my sort of paid work, if you like. So I've carried on with that, but it's been different since losing my son. I've been able to connect and empathize and with people on a different level, on another level to what I was doing before. And I think I did quite well before connecting with people. I think I naturally do that quite well. But definitely losing my son helped me to connect and relate to people in a more in-depth, meaningful, purposeful way. And that's because losing my son has made me grow and become the best version of myself in so many ways, whilst carrying the weight of grief. And you might say, well, how is that the best version of yourself? You know, you carrying grief, or before your loss, not carrying grief. How is this version of you better? Well, yeah, you might argue that. There's certain things that I can change in myself and my environment, perhaps. There's certain things I can't change, and I can't change the fact that I've lost my son, that I'm a veloma, and a veloma is someone who has lost. You know, it's a title, if you like, given to somebody who has lost a child. So I can't change that, but what I can change is this moment now, what I choose to do with this moment. Either I choose to sit in a room, sit in my son's room in the darkness with the curtains drawn, you know, in complete seclusion from my family and from my other loved ones that I have, you know, and I'm blessed I have so many people that love me, that I love, and meaningful relationships, friendships, siblings, you know, so there's so many. Am I going to, you know, they've lost, you know, my son was something to them too. So they've lost someone. Do I want to subject them to losing me too while I'm still alive? Is that what I want? And then I felt that, well, if I was to do that, I'd probably shorten my life by choosing that road. And then once I'm gone, there was never really anyone that could have put something into place to keep my son's memory alive. And I feel that I'm the only person that might do that might do something in his honor. And if I was to go, then I don't know. You know, I can't say that no one would. I mean, I have two lovely daughters who, you know, want to carry on, you know, the charity work that I do, want to carry on the charity, you know. she sort of promised me that, if something happens to me or after I've gone, that she would want to do that. She's so, I think I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but never mind. These things happen. Bringing myself to the subject. Bringing myself to the subject is that, holding on to hope. So it's the hope really that keeps me going. It's the hope to leave a legacy, and then sometimes people's faith gives them hope. That there's a heaven, that they're going to see their loved ones again, and I also share that. I share that. I do have faith. I do believe that we lose each other physically here in this world, but there's a spiritual side to us. There's our soul that goes somewhere, and the love that we have for each other is so intertwined and so deep that I don't feel dies when the person dies physically. I feel, but that's my own opinion and my own belief, and you might have a completely differing belief, and that's okay. Please do comment. But the thing is, whether or not that's true, to live my life with that hope is probably a good thing, because it's helping me to do the work that I'm doing, and that is to try and help others. So it is a win-win, I would say, situation, in that there's nothing negative coming out of that, is there? To help others, there's nothing negative about that. We're hopefully only gaining from it. So, yeah. So holding on to hope is important. Find what it is that, gets you motivated. I know it's difficult when you've experienced loss to find anything positive and find anything that, motivates you. But it's quite helpful if you do think about that, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the months to follow, that you might think about what can I put into my life to live the best life I can possibly live now after my loss? How can I make some sense of this? Well, things don't often make sense. So it's not really asking, well, why me? Why did this happen to me? You might want to think about, and I certainly did. I didn't think about why me, and become the victim, because in that role, it's very difficult to move forward. If you sort of completely throw yourself into self-pity, and being the victim isn't really going to help you to, I think, live your life in any positive way. It's going to become a barrier, going to become something that pulls you back. So I didn't want that. So rather than ask the question, why me, it was very much, what now? What do I do now? Where do I go now? Where is this taking me? Because it doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't think it ever will during my lifetime actually make sense as to why my son, was taken away at the age of 22. It doesn't make any sense, no. But hopefully one day it will, and that might be once I leave this world, this physical life, perhaps. I don't know. But rather than dwell, sorry, that was what I'm trying to say. Rather than dwell in, why me? It's more work on what now is very much my thinking. And that's not me saying that, it takes away the grief or it takes away the pain. No, it doesn't take any of that away. But the thing is, I need to live my life in some way. I've chosen to live my life in this way rather than to be that person locked up in a dark bedroom on her own. I've chosen this. That's the decision I made. about, I think, 6-8 months after losing my son, I made the decision that I want to try and do something positive in his honor, in his memory, rather than just wait, until my life is over. Because that's going to happen anyway. So my thinking is, I may as well try and do something positive while I've got this opportunity to do it. Yeah. And that's how I see life. Okay, so holding on to hope. I absolutely do. Every single day, hold on to hope. And sometimes, it becomes a bit obscure. You sort of think, oh, this is exhausting, and you have your bad days, and you allow those days where your grief is intense and you're not going to do anything else that day but grieve, and that's okay. You allow that to happen, because probably the next day or the next day after that, you're going to feel a little bit more positive again. So you allow those days to come and pass, because pass they will. I hope you found the content of this video helpful. Please do share, please do like, comment, subscribe. Those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. I do so much appreciate it. I thank you for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and souls. Thank you.